The PlayStation 5 exists and that its name. What is going on, my peeps? Your boy Versatile is back with another video, back talking about the PlayStation 5 or PS5. It has been confirmed for holiday 20. That means we're getting it. You know I'm getting it. And thankfully it's a year away from now. So what are we expecting the hardware to be like within the PlayStation 5? Well, one of the first things that we're talking about is solid state drives. No more HDDs. We're getting solid state drives. It means faster storage, faster load times, because that's what we want in the gamer world. And the only way to start bridging the gap between PC and I guess you could say cloud gaming is for consoles to take being able to access your game that much faster. And the one question I have for that is, how much storage are we getting? 2, 3, 4 gigs? Because terabytes. Are we getting 2, 3, 4 terabytes? Because these games are coming in at almost the size of like 100 gigabyte optical discs. So the capabilities of how much storage these games are going to be able to take because of all the advancements within them is going to be insane. But the nice part about that is all that data that will be on those discs when you download them to the system, you can actually configure your storage. So you can download bits and pieces of the game. So if you want to just download the single player campaign and play that, and then download the multiplayer on maybe another storage drive. If not, just download that another time, you can. So it makes it being able to handle your storage a whole lot better. So basically, you know, if it's a multiplayer game and a single player game, you play the campaign first, delete that. You still got your save storage, of course, like your progress and all that. But then you download the multiplayer part, then you can play that, and of course, you're probably gonna get even more fluidity and or that much faster access to the game because it only has to concentrate on this specific function. And so that's something that I didn't even think about, and that's also dope that developers will have that option to give us, which most likely they will, probably in 2021, of course, because it's going to be the end of the year, November sometime, when the PlayStation 5 drops. PlayStation 5 drops. So that's actually pretty dope. We're getting ray tracing. So that's all about how they can, you know, improve or even maximize utilizing light and how it interprets light and shadows and make all that so much more better, especially in like 3D environments and stuff like that, and you get 3D audio. So ray tracing will be a real deal, a real thing on the PlayStation 5. That's insane. So we're gonna get that much more realism in terms of our playing experiences, and if it's games that are more realistic with people and that are story driven in that manner, that's gonna go so much more towards telling a story. And so like the PlayStation 5 is bringing heat, and most of this I think is also gonna be part of Project Scarlet, but the fact that the PlayStation 5 is taking this serious, yes, please, thank you. And let me rewind real quick. The one thing I did forget to mention is the fact that these, how we're gonna play these games. Sony is finally implementing or integrating a 4K player. So, which of course I believe can still play Blu-ray. But the fact that they didn't integrate it with the PlayStation 4 Pro was a little questionable, seeing as Sony has always been on top of that sort of thing. And so now that we get to see the 4K player show up in the PlayStation 5, it makes it all the more easier to buy and purchase that Infinity Saga Collector's Edition. You know what I'm saying? Because I can watch it 4K now. Alright, so one of the other things that we're going to get with the PlayStation 5 is a new UI. So we know we get that, they call it bare bones, but we get that very scrollable side to side, what we used to call the media, like the media bar or whatever, the cross media bar or whatever. So they're going to change that up some for us, and in ways that we will see some of those improvements or new functionality added to the user interface of the PS5 will be how games allow certain actions to take place or information to be displayed across. Now we know with the PlayStation 4 already, you can see what some friends are doing. You can try to join parties, this, that, and the third. But what you'll be able to do with the single player campaigns and stuff like that is it'll give a little more information as to the missions that you're on, or the progress you're making in the game, possible rewards coming up, maybe even highlight specific trophies that you might be within range of. So that's gonna be dope. And then with multiplayer games, they have like, I don't know if it's called instant joinable actions, but nonetheless, jump right into the action. And so one of the first games that surprisingly came to my mind for something like that would be like a Battlefront 2, how you just jump straight into the game. But with everything being able to be so accelerated in terms of accessibility, it doesn't actually surprise me that you could just kind of jump straight into the action with no problems or with little hiccups. That's dope. And one of the examples they show with a lot of just speed in terms of accessing your game is like Marvel Spider-Man. You probably heard this example elsewhere. I'm gonna give it here too. There's an action you can do in the game where you can take the subway to travel through town. And the subway, you see Peter Parker on the subway train kind of chilling next to other pedestrians or civilians. Well, that is either non-existent or it literally is like a blip now because how fast data can be accessed by the PS5. And so that's just one of the functionality. That's another or an example of what solid state drives or SSDs will be able to do in terms of load times. Get them out of here. Now, that's the PlayStation 5. What is the Dualshock 5 controller gonna be like? Well, we've seen developer kits out there as to what the PS5 is gonna look like. Of course, it looks like a doggone engine or like just a unique form factor case for a PC. But the controller largely looks the same, but supposedly the touchpad might have a screen in it now where you can actually play around with the screen. And an example that came to mind of that is like the dual Asus like ZenBook screen or whatever, where you got the screen here and like the one right here where you'll get that's miniature size screen in the touchpad, which will be dope. But two big features that's going to change how the gameplay feels is one, adaptive triggers, which is very interesting and something I'm actually looking forward to because I want to know how that actually feels and will it actually live up to the hype. Because an example they gave, Matt Cerny gave, who's like the lead guy for the PlayStation, is let's say you're using a bow and arrow. Let's use Horizon as an example. Well, adaptive triggers allows for resistance and pressure. So, you trying to tighten up the more pressure you apply on the trigger buttons, like R2 and L2 or whatever, the more, you draw power for your bow and arrow or whatever, or maybe even with like, gunplay or something like that, it changes like how that feels. And so you'll definitely feel that in the triggers. And then haptic feedback is different. You actually have haptic feedback throughout the controller, depending on different surfaces, different gameplay mode. I won't say mode, but actions that are taking place within the game can change how the haptic feedback happens in the controller. And they're changing out those motors for voice coil actuators, which I guess gives stronger vibrations or stronger feedback. So everything can just feel different in the hand and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting because like playing basketball games, football games, playing more action-based games, platform games, will they take advantage of and utilize these new features that the PlayStation 5 will be able to handle, and in this case, the DualShock 5 controllers. Now, of course, one question that may pop up, and that popped up for me, is battery life. Are we getting bigger battery to try to handle all this fun, cool stuff? Yes. They are improving and or increasing the battery size, and because of that and the voice actuators, the control is going to be, I guess, a little bit more heavy. But that's something that I've never been concerned about in terms of gaming, is the heft of the controller. Usually it's a good thing because it doesn't feel too light. It doesn't feel like you'll break it in hand. So to me, I guess the heft, especially if you're getting a bigger battery and we're getting like more functionality with the controller, I'm all for it. And USB-C everything, please. We're getting USB Type-C to charge the controllers, which unfortunately I have to trade out. Well, I'll probably keep this PlayStation 4 Pro, so I'll keep this charge station I got in here, but I'm gonna have to get a new one. So hopefully whoever, is this one Micah or Power A, somebody, they're gonna hook us up with USB-C charging stations. And so it would actually be nice to see PlayStation actually license, which I think they might have anyway, but that's gonna be dope. That's a little small little thing that popped up. But yes, we're getting a bigger battery in the controller to handle all of this fun stuff. And so that's what I'm excited about. All this cool, fun stuff that we're about to see with the PS5 is really just a matter of accessibility, how fast we can get to our gaming, and gaming itself seeing a leap in improvements in terms of visuals and in terms of stability. You know, like I'm ready for the PS5. I mean, I enjoy my PS4, but this is definitely a leap from the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, as well as the Xbox One, One X, One S, any other ones out there. And I mean, like, these are leaps and bounds above what we've been presently doing. And so I think that's the shock there, is when we actually get it in hand, actually being able to experience what this kind of gaming would be like. And it's kind of the same with like Google Stadia and stuff like that, like cloud gaming, and be able to game or stream gaming consistently and stabilized. Like that's gonna be the next. Gaming's gonna be in a new place by the end of 2020, and I can't wait to see what it's going to be like and experience and feel this. So guys, let me know down in the comments below about anything that interests you about the PlayStation 5, questions you have, concerns, or things that you may be looking forward to. Let me know down in the comments below. As always, hit that likes button and subscribe if you haven't already. We are going places, and I want to take y'all on the journey. But until then, your boy Verso signing out, and until the next video, wait for